their ideas and their interest through job fairs and doing those things at the elementary and middle school, and then creating profiles for them to move into the high school where they can get information and then they can move forward into the kind of areas of business or fields that they'd like to really work on.
Candidate Schill.
Material success in life is obviously very important, but I think that question is not fully answered unless we remind ourselves that the primary goal of public education in Minnesota is to educate for citizenship. So I wanted to say that. In addition to that, I think when you look at the huge demographic changes that are affecting every walk of life, and certainly education from pre-K through 12, many things are going to be different. I think one of the things we have to work a little bit a day at a time on in a very planned out way, or thinking about it consciously. We've got to do away with the idea of college for everybody. College works very nicely for some people. It clearly does not meet the needs of other people, as a lot of others are mentioned. And I think we have to continue with doing things such as we've got a joint project with the Minnesota State Chamber of Commerce, I think, and just be aware of what's going on and try to pay attention to students' needs and see how the future unfolds and make sure that we're paying attention to that.
Candidate Sims.
I agree with others who have made the point that we need to make sure that we encourage interests, but how do we encourage those interests? Whether it's going into a vocation or going into university setting. And that comes with project-based learning in my experience. Making sure that we're partnering with communities, and that's not just with Winona State or Minnesota College Southeast, that's partnering with businesses through great programs that'll get students to experience a day in the life of a lawyer, a day in the life of somebody at Peerless Chain, a day in the life of somebody who's at a knitting company, or finding ways for them to actually take an active role in that. I experienced this growing up, going and working with the DNR to do things like measuring different lakes and the phosphates and the nitrates running off into them. And we need to empower those students. When they say they have an interest and a teacher or a staff member finds something that could be of that interest, we need to encourage them to go out and get it. I became a city planner because a student counselor told me about going to La Crescent, Minnesota when I was 17 and taking 3 days to help them plan their city. I went there and did it, and it changed my life.
All right, we're nearing the end of our forum, and at this point, we're going to ask each candidate to present their 1 minute of closing remarks, or less, should you choose. Our first speaker tonight will be candidate Larkey.
Well, I again want to thank the League of Women's Voters for holding this forum, and I also want to thank my fellow candidates. I'm a firm believer that education is the foundation of our society. Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I could not agree with this more, especially in the world we live in today. I want to make sure that we are focusing on the education and programming that we are providing our students to help them to be the best at whatever they decide to pursue in their future. Make sure our teachers have the tools they need to implement these programs and help put the win back in Winona area public schools. Thank you all.
Candidate Denzer.
I also want to thank the League of Women Voters for the opportunity to share my thoughts and reasons for running for this seat on the school board. I think it's time that this community and everyone get behind the bold decisions that the school board has made in the very recent past, and that we should stop debating whether or not we're going to move forward, but actually truly move forward with decisions that have been made. Get behind the strategic plan, get behind the consolidation of the buildings that are now going to represent the school district. I welcome your feedback. I'd appreciate your support and encourage you to give me any feedback that you have so that I can become a good school board member for you.
Candidate Sims.
I'm not an educator, but I am a calm voice. I'm somebody who can help this community grow forward after the more tumultuous last few years. I'm somebody who is willing and eager to work with you, the public, to make sure that I'm listening and implementing the goals, strategies, and hopes that you have for Winona Area Public Schools and for your students. Going forward, we're not just talking about past facility decisions or making sure that we're looking at the individual programmatic things that need to be done. I trust educators, I trust consultants, I trust people who have expertise in that. But what matters most from your board member is somebody who's available to you, somebody who will take the time day or night on the sidewalk, in a coffee shop, having breakfast with students. I can do that. I'm here for this community, and I look forward to serving on your school board. Once again, my name is Luke Sims, and I'm running an at-large for school board.
Candidate Schul.
Our public schools matter greatly. They are the cornerstone of a community. Ask any realtor. But even more, they are the only remaining institution that connects us together as a nation. Our democracy needs the public school. I am willing to fight for it, uplift it, and improve it. Why can't WAPS be the good school, the great school, the school that the whole country emulates? Ask yourself what candidate is the best prepared and qualified to lead our district forward. What candidate is casting a forward-thinking vision for our school district? What candidate is a champion for teachers? Because when you help teachers, you help students. I have a willingness to roll my sleeves up and take a bold step of faith in the idea that WAPS's best days are ahead. So I ask for your vote on August 14th. Thank you very much.
Candidate Shield.
As others have said, thanks very much to everybody, to the league and everybody else involved in putting this on. As I said at the outset, I'm asking for your vote. I think that the board, with some difficult decisions lately, has positioned itself very nicely to move forward and to try to accomplish the many things that we've talked about here tonight. But the most important thing that I want to leave you with is not to vote for me, but I implore everybody out there as a citizen to pay attention and to be involved. I think that many of the decisions that we went through would have been a lot less wearing on everybody had we as a community been involved earlier on, had we been more realistic about what we faced. So I guess I would urge people to pay attention and to participate, and if we can work together, I think that we have a much greater chance of doing the sorts of things that we all want to accomplish for the kids and the families we serve. Thanks.
Candidate Sonneman.
Thank you for being here tonight. I want to ask for your vote on August 14th. I bring a background that has worked with finance, financing decisions, bond issues, and overseeing a number of nonprofit organizations where where we are concerned directly with finance. I think it's important that the board become more concerned, more skilled in that and more concerned with that. You can't leave that to others. Your vote in the primary counts and will determine which 4 candidates go forward on the November ballot. If you want a candidate to serve on the school board, please get out and vote in the primary. I'm urging you to vote, cast one of those votes in the at-large seat for Carl Sonneman. Thank you.
Candidate Hazelton.
I too want to thank our sponsors and the League of Women Voters and the press for covering this and everybody watching. I want to come back to the school board and bring back fiscal responsibility, accountability, transparency, and above all, the best education that we can give our kids. We need to empower our teachers, give them the resources they need. We need to take a leap of faith and do out-of-the-box things that can get us noticed. We need to bring back more pre-K initiatives and opportunities for our students. I'm Ted Hazelton. I'm running for District 1 school board seat. I would appreciate your vote in the primary, August 14th. It's time to put the public back into our public schools. Thank you.
We'd like to thank all of the candidates for offering to serve their community and for the enormous time, dedication, and commitment that both running and serving demands. We encourage all of our members as individuals, as we encourage everyone in our audience tonight, to get involved in your community and the political party of your choice. We want to thank the candidates for an informative event. The League of Women Voters would also like to thank our co-sponsors, AAUW Winona Branch, Home and Community Options, Project FINE, Women's Resource Center of Winona, Winona Occupational Rehabilitation Services, and Winona State University social work students, and the WSU American Democracy Project. We'd like to thank HBC for taping this educational forum. The forum in its entirety will be made available prior to the primary election on August 14th on the League of Women Voters Winona Facebook page within a few days of today's event. The League of Women Voters will be holding forums throughout September and October of 2018 in advance of the 2018 general election. These events will feature televised candidate statements and time for the public present to directly meet candidates after the televised portion of the evening. Final dates and times for the forums will be announced through media releases and the League of Women Voters of Winona Facebook page. Most of the forums will take place here at Winona City Hall, though one is being planned in the city of St. Charles. If you need information on becoming a registered voter, call the Winona County Auditor Treasurer or the Winona City Clerk. Online registration is closed for the primary as of August 9th. You may register to vote for the general election online at the Minnesota Secretary of State's office after the primary until October 18th, 2018 for the general election. If you are not registered to vote, Minnesota does have registration at the polls. Check the Minnesota Secretary of State's website on the process, as several items of identification must be provided on election day to election judges. MNLWV.org is a website you may also use for general voter service information. Please vote. The primary election is Tuesday, August 14th, and the general election is Tuesday, November 2nd. Polls will be open 7 a.m. through 8 p.m. Now let's give all of our candidates a round of applause. Thank you and have a great evening.